How's it going, everybody? This is the Nitty Gritty. My name is Chad. With me, as usual, is Leonard, and we are bringing you another edition of our Stupid Question series where one of us asks the other person a question, and that person has to answer right off the top of their head with no preparation. It always adds for interesting conversation. So, Leonard is going to be asking me the question this week, so take it away.
All right, so this is an over-under question. Over-under 6 months, and we're talking late summer, so we're saying around Royal Rumble time. Over-under 6 months on believing in Joe Hendry.
6 months for what exactly?
For basically, is Joe Hendry still going to be a thing around Royal Rumble time? As far as his push goes, as far as the excitement around him goes. You know, at the time that we're talking, he's been getting a big push in NXT. He's been a viral sensation on TikTok. He's, his theme song was in the top 20 at Spotify at one point. And because of that, WWE brought him into NXT from TNA via the talent exchange that they have. So do you think that that's going to fizzle out what he's got going on by, say, the Royal Rumble, or do you think they can continue to capitalize and make a big star out of him?
So, if this were the Vince McMahon era, I would say it will fizzle out and you will never hear about Joe Hendry in WWE again. Because, Vince usually wouldn't capitalize on such things. I will give Triple H credit for, he's proven to build people in a different way. That's not to say it's perfect. I know everybody right now thinks that what he's doing is perfect, but I would say he's doing it in a different way than Vince would, and that gives me some hope for somebody like Joe Hendry. To answer your question, I would say, I guess I would say over 6 months. I still think he'll be a thing. I think it will probably his popularity will probably plateau a little bit, but the knock on WWE as a whole, whether it be Vince or Triple H, is to me that they don't always capitalize on things that are hot right now. They always have to build somebody long term and turn them into what they want long term. Case in point, Keith Lee, when he was in the Rumble and had that really hot appearance against Lesnar, they could have capitalized on that right away. I'm not saying that you needed to make him world champ, but you could have put him in a high profile feud with somebody right away, but they didn't. They didn't do anything. And he went to AEW, and now he's not doing much of anything. But that's what I worry about with Joe Hendry. You talked about the Royal Rumble. I can see them giving him a big entrance in the Royal Rumble and it getting a big pop, but they're not going to have him win it. So then what? Will the theme song and all that, will it be able to continue forever? No. I would say over 6 months. But I think that they either need to push him faster or, hope for the best, because I don't think he's going to reach his potential just being in NXT right now.
My thoughts are very similar to yours. Definitely in the Vince McMahon era, they probably wouldn't even brought Joe Hendry in. The greatest example is probably Zack Ryder, a guy who they said, we have nothing for you, get yourself over, and then he does, and then he gets punished for it. They don't use him. And then when they do, it's a year and a half later from when he blew up. And it's oh, well, you weren't as over as you thought you were. No, you didn't capitalize at the time. It's punishment. And I do agree that Triple H is doing that better. A great example, I think, would be LA Knight. He comes into the main roster and they stick him with the Max Dupree gimmick and the models gimmick, which does nothing, which kills him dead.
Right.
And then he gets reinvented, going back to LA Knight that he was in NXT, allowing to kind of get himself over as, say, if you go back and you look like the Rock era, the Austin era, the Attitude era, hey, here's a mic, get yourself over. That was kind of what happened with him. And again, they've built him over time. And I think Cody Rhodes, I thought it was a misstep for not putting it on the title on Cody Rhodes 2 WrestleManias ago.
Mm.
But they built that story, and I think that worked. So I think well, go ahead.
I was gonna say Cody Rhodes is, I would say, a little bit different in that he's one of those guys that left, discovered a new hold, as they say, then came back. So the buzz around him is such that you can't create that or build that in one place. Like the buzz of somebody leaving, doing better, and then kind of being the prodigal son or whatever. Like that's what you want. Like every time if you can get it. I mean, somebody like LA Knight, like he's been there. They're building him, yes, and I hope that they continue to do so in a good way. Here's my worry with that: he's not a spring chicken.
No, I have to look him up, but he's in his 40s, right? Early 40s. Right.
Yeah, and this is the issue. Like somebody like AJ Styles, he's an anomaly. I feel like in that he's can go for a long time and he's in his 40s. Like some of these guys, when the WWE finally gets them, they get them after all this time on the indies, and then they're like, okay, well now we're going to build you long term. They might not have long term. Like, their bodies might not, allow for that. I mean, look at somebody like Brian Danielson. He was in and out due to injuries, and I certainly hope that LA Knight is in it for the long haul. I do think they have a star there. I think they know that too.
Yeah.
But the U.S. title is where people go to die.
Yeah. You will like to think that's a stepping stone, but it traditionally isn't. So just to sum up on Hendry, I think it would be smart to bring him up by Survivor Series. Although I think what you said about giving him a big Rumble appearance and then hopefully maybe giving him a decent feud going into WrestleMania, maybe
that's the key to me.
Yeah.
Have him debut. If you want to have him debut at the Royal Rumble, fine. Give him something to do after that. If it's just a one-off, like the Perfect 10 was years ago when he came out at number 10, like, that doesn't really do anything. So.
No. So, and it doesn't have to be a title shot, but even if he gets a promising feud and say like a mid-night one WrestleMania match that he wins, I think that might bode well for future endeavors. So
I never thought I'd say this because I don't like this person, but a good mainstream feud for Joe Hendry would be The Miz.
Yes, I could see that because of the way Miz, I think, would sell what he does as far as promos go, and just everything that the Miz brings to the table that Joe Hendry could mock and make fun of, and write songs about and do his shtick with. I think the Miz is a great thing, and the Miz is the kind of guy. He's a veteran, and he can definitely be a kind of guy that can put someone over.
And the Miz is on record recently as saying it's extremely tough to get on a PLE premium live event nowadays because people say AEW has all these people they're not using. Well, WWE has a lot of people too, and that is coming from somebody that's there saying it's really, really tough to get featured on one of their big events now because everybody's hungry, everybody wants the same thing. So give Miz something to do. But anyway, I'm sure Triple H will try.
So I think the answer is that we both believe in Joe Hendry, as long as WWE believes in him too.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, check out our other videos, Segment Surgery, Random Match Reviews, our full-length episodes. We're also available wherever you listen to podcasts. Click the like button, subscribe to our content, leave comments, let us know what you think. And for Leonard, my name is Chad. We will see you next time.